Thank you guys all for coming, and thank you for everybody joining us on Facebook and Instagram Live. I'm Leah.
And I'm Megan.
And we are excited to be here today. So today we are, do we need to sing?
Oh, if you want to. Are you guys ready to sing?
You going to sing with us? We're making melted snowman peppermint bark. So to get started, we'll join a little song of Frosty the Snowman.
Okay. Here we go. Everyone join in. Frosty the Snowman was a jolly happy soul with a corncob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal.
All right, that's good.
That's good. Yay!
That's a long song, right? We don't need to sing forever. So we'll just kind of show you guys here a picture and we'll get started. So this is what we're going to be demonstrating today.
And it is really easy. We
Yes.
were surprised by how easy it is. If you've made peppermint bark before, has anyone made peppermint bark before? No?
You have?
You have?
Oh no! Well, this is a very easy way to do it. So I'm sure this is kind of a foolproof way. And we'll just kind of show you how to do it.
And the decorations just make it kind of fun. It's pretty much just like a basic peppermint bark recipe, but then we add some decorations. So.
So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to melt our chocolate. So we have 2 kinds of chocolate today. We have these melting, what are they called? Candy
Wafers.
Melt wafers. So, and we'll pull them out and show you. They're just kind of thin wafers of chocolate.
And they're like meant to be melted.
Yes.
They're not really for like putting in cookies or something like that.
So they're used a lot of times for either like chocolate covered strawberries or different things like that where you need to melt the chocolate down, cake pops, that kind of stuff. And this is the other kind of chocolate that we have is just regular chocolate chips.
That are white chocolate.
White chocolate, yes, sorry. And the reason that we mix them together is because these are, the recipe calls for a bright white chocolate of these. And unfortunately, these ones aren't labeled as a bright white, but it's just basically supposed to make it whiter, to make it look more like snow versus the regular white chocolate chips are a little bit yellow tint. And you'll probably see when we get started here. So that's what the purpose of that is, basically. So how we're going to melt the chocolate is just going to be our double boil. So we've got water in this pan here, and then I've got just this clear pan here that I put into that water, and then that will help melt the chocolate. It's an easy way to do that.
You can do it in the microwave. If you're used to melting chocolate in the microwave and just putting it in for 30 seconds and stirring it and putting it back in, you can definitely do that. But this is kind of a way to make sure it doesn't get all clumpy or like that it doesn't like burn or something like that. It kind of is just like a slower process. So.
And if you were to do it on the stove without doing the double boil there, it is easier to burn the chocolate. And so that is not a great way to do it. So that's why we're going to do it this way.
And we are doubling the recipe, so we have a lot. It says it makes about 12 big pieces, but we want to have extra to feed to our staff. So we're going to try to get about 24. So we're putting 2 cups, and honestly, I'm just going to put the rest of it because it's almost gone. So it's 2 cups of the wafers and then 2 cups of the white chocolate chips as well.
Man, I don't know if this is on. Oh, that's
There it is.
okay. Got it. And then, so 2 cups of those, and then we're going to do another 2 cups of the white chocolate chips.
And, hello, welcome. And this bag is about 2 cups as well, but we'll measure it just to make sure. Maybe show them the difference between the 2.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Okay. So you can see this is our white chocolate chips. Oops, spilling here. So they're a little bit yellow, and then this is going to be the chocolate melts. So you can kind of see the difference in color. So this is just to kind of lighten up the color, and that's the only purpose of having 2 different kinds there.
But I do think you can buy the ones that are even more white, that are bright white. So if you see them, I would get them. We just got all of our ingredients at Fry's, so we didn't see the bright white ones, but they did make the bark a little whiter than usual, so we mixed them together. So while she's doing that, I'm going to get our baking sheet And we're just gonna line it with some wax paper because in the end, we're gonna pour the chocolate on here and we wanna make sure it doesn't stick. So I'm just gonna line this.
For those who just showed up, we're making melted Snowman Peppermint Bark. So that's what we're working on right now.
Okay. And it does depend how thin you make it. That will also determine if you can get 12 or if you can get a couple more. When we made the recipe beforehand, we doubled it and we got like 31 because we made some kind of small. So however many you need, you can kind of work with it. But when you put the decorations, it does limit your space. If you want it to look like a snowman, you have to kind of keep that in mind.
Some of the small ones, as we started, and we'll talk about this more when you guys can kind of see what we're talking about. But the, like she said, with all the decorations, because it has so many little details, when you do them smaller, they start to just look a little squished.
Because you got to fit a hat, you have to fit a whole face, little arms. So keep that in mind. And to prep for that, I'm going to start getting some of our candies ready. So for the hat, we have these mini Reese's peanut butter cups. And I'm just going to cut a few of them in half so that they'll sit on the bark really well. And it also, you can get more out of them if you cut them in half. So I'm going to work on doing that. And then we also have some other really fun decorations that we're going to use. We have orange sprinkles that we're going to use for the nose, like a carrot nose. We have these red sprinkles that we're going to use for the buttons. And then these are really fun eye candies. And you can just find these in the baking aisle by all the frostings and things. And they just look like little eyes. They're really fun. I brought these to a group, and I brought the peppermint bark, and they had these on there. And someone asked me if they were pills because they look kind of like, I don't know, I guess like a white little round pill. And I said, no, I assure you, they're candy.
You could sneak some vitamins in that way.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. It was like late at night. They're like, is it melatonin? Is that what? So they are candy. You can get them in the baking aisle. And they add a lot of fun to like cookies. On the package, they have a little snowman guy. So
I think Santa Claus, I've
yeah,
seen,
you can make a lot of
their
fun
little
stuff with those. So.
Yeah.
So we'll put those on. And of course, you can always use different things. So if you have like black icing and you'd rather just put a dot of icing for the eyes or orange icing to make the nose, you can do stuff like that. Feel free to be creative.
You can easily make any of the topping decor with icing or frosting or whatever. Anything like that will work just fine. I thought that doing pretzels for like the arms. And I thought that was a really good mix with the peppermint, with the white chocolate and peppermint. It just made it taste really good. Mm-hmm. So I personally like the pretzels for the arms. If I did this again, I would definitely use those.
And white chocolate is extra sweet. So that's good to remember that with the pretzels, it kind of adds a salty aspect of it because white chocolate's kind of just sugar.
Yeah, and we actually were having that conversation yesterday when we were talking about this recipe is like, because we know like chocolate is just like cocoa, and so we were like kind of talking about what white chocolate is. And so I looked at the ingredients and it's literally just like milk and sugar basically. So if you have any questions on that, that's basically what it is. So.
But that's okay. We don't mind.
No, it's two of my favorite things, right?
And the other thing that we're going to add, of course, is the peppermint. So once we get this all melted, we're going to add peppermint. And we were really lucky to find this bag of already crushed candy canes at Fry's. We thought we were going to have to buy peppermints and like use a little chopper, but we did find these and we're really excited about it because it makes it a little less work for you to just pour them in. So they are available at Fry's in like the seasonal Christmas section in the back.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're not so lucky and you have to crush the peppermints yourself, there's many different ways you can do it. Like Megan said, that we had like a chopper that we were going to do it. It's a little like a hand chopper, and you can easily do it with that. Well, maybe not easily, but you can do it with that. Also, a food processor would work really good for that to get them small and condensed. You could also put them in like a Ziploc or some kind of bag and use a rolling pin and just crush them that way, which is a little bit time consuming. But there are other ways if you don't have this accessible to you. So
Yeah, we had to search for them.
We
We
did.
found one bag and we were like, we have to find another one. And so I searched around and I found one more, but they're popular. So here are our little peanut butter cups that I cut in half. And then everything else is pretty much ready to go. We just have our eyeballs, and I put some of the sprinkles out on this little plate so we can easily grab them. And then the pretzels. And we did break those in half to make the arms a little shorter.
I think I ended up quartering them if you want to have really small faces. I did them in quarters, but because some of them got really long, but you could just do them in half if you want a bigger sized one. That would work as well.
So I'll break a couple of those just while we're waiting.
Our chocolate's almost melted. You can see here I still got some clumps in it, but it is getting really melty. So I do feel like this process, I think it works the best, but I do think that it takes a little bit longer than if you would put it in like the microwave or something. So you got to keep that in mind for prep time if you are going to do it this way.
And peppermint bark, you can do different things with it. I was thinking it would be fun if you made like a layer of dark chocolate on the bottom, or I think that would probably be one of the things that tastes best with it. Like you can use caramel or something, but with the peppermint, I think the dark chocolate might be really good.
That would be really yummy, yeah.
I don't know what else would be good. What do you think?
I think you could do, I don't know, you could do a lot of different things.
And
Like she said, you can mix the chocolates so you have different sweetnesses and textures to it. Would be fun.
And you were telling me how you have a recipe where you use Andes mints. And so that could maybe be a good mix. Instead of the peppermint, you could cut up Andes mints.
And they actually sell like Andes mint, I think it's the chocolate chips. And so they're real, or like chunks of the Andes mint is what it is. I know, I'm not sure how to fix this. Maybe I need to dump some water out. It's almost done. We can probably just stir it and be done maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think I'm gonna just take it out.
Okay.
And then we'll be good. All right, so I'm just gonna take that out. You can see there, it's all pretty melted. So I'm just gonna give it a good stir to make sure all those last little chunks are melted down.
And it has a really good smooth consistency, which is what you want because we're going to be pouring it all on here. And then once you have the chocolate all melted, that's when you add the peppermint. So I'm going to add that. I can't open anything when I'm wearing these gloves. I need scissors. But it's just going to be half a cup. It's just a 1/4 cup, but since we're doubling it, we're going to do a 1/2 cup of these peppermint pieces. And if you like a lot of peppermint, you could put more.
You want to be careful if you do add extra, not to do too much extra, just because when we go to stick the toppings in there, we want it to stick into the chocolate. So if it gets too chunky with the peppermint, it might have a weird consistency when it goes to do that. So. But we'll just mix this all in. Make sure you get all the peppermint evenly mixed throughout all of the chocolates.
And it's very easy, and we thought it was really good. We want to hear, of course, your feedback at the end with our samples. But we used the Ghirardelli chocolate, and I think that made a difference.
I think
because
it probably did.
it tasted very rich and creamy, and it was very good. So get ready. And another thing we thought of was for the buttons, it does recommend in the book to use red chip crunch sprinkles from Wilton, and I have not used those before. I didn't see them at Fry's, so we didn't get those. We ended up just getting the little cinnamon sprinkles that do work really well. They're a good size and color, but some people don't like the cinnamon.
Me,
Leah.
Don't like cinnamon.
And so we thought of some other things you could possibly use. I thought it would be really fun to use like pomegranate seeds, but those are expensive. So if you're on a budget, it might not be the best choice.
And then our sprinkle case had a bunch of different kinds, and they had these cute silver ones.
That are round.
So we thought those would be cute for little silver buttons instead of
And
the
they
red.
have colored ones too, but it just depends kind of on the look you're going for. And you could use other candies like mini M&Ms, but it just depends if you want to pick out certain colors or whatever you want to do. So just keep that in mind.
So once you have all your peppermint mixed in, make sure you have it lined with your stuff, but then basically you're just gonna pour that right there. And we'll make sure we get all of that.
And the one nice part about not decorating with icing is that you don't have to deal with the messiness of it, because with all of these, we're just gonna stick it into the chocolate while it's still wet, and so it makes it a little bit easier.
Definitely.
So.
And then it does get a little bit thick that way, so what we did is we just spread it out a little bit. That way you're getting more out of it, and then it's a thinner layer. It'll be quicker to dry or to cool down, and give you more as well.
And I was surprised. It does end up kind of covering the whole tray. It's quite a bit, so.
And you don't want to make them too thin, because I did notice some of ours did end up snapping in a couple places just because I could tell it was really thin. So try not to get it too thin, but I think maybe like, I don't know, half an inch, quarter of an inch,
I think it
something like
says
that.
about a quarter an inch, I think is what it says. No, it just says spread evenly onto baking sheet.
Well, I think about a quarter of an inch if you want to
Yeah,
get technical.
that's what I would say too. And so while it's wet, that's when we're going to stick all of the decorations on. So you do want to make sure you work quick. And both of us did it at the same time, and that was really helpful because we could kind of break into teams. So I'm going to put the little hats on and try to put the eyes and the nose.
And I'm going to work on the little arms and the buttons.
So this is pretty self-explanatory. You just pop them in, make a little face. And it is going to be hard with my gloves on, that's true.
I know, I was thinking that too.
And the sprinkles they're a little tough because they're so tiny, but...
Stephanie had a good idea to use like cooking tweezers. So if you have some tweezers that work good, I don't have any on us today, but it is a great idea to help get them lined up. I know yesterday when we were making the other ones, I kept like dropping my buttons here, and then they'd get all over. So.
And I would drop the orange sprinkles, and I'd be like, well, that's where the nose is. I'd try to put it around the nose. So, but also, they're supposed to be melted snowmen, so if they're a little wonky, it's fun. All right. So, okay. Okay. Yep.
And that one's a little wonky.
That's actually a good point. Mistakes
Yeah.
are by design.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a good project, that you can make with kids because it's supposed to be a little bit wonky. Okay. Does anybody have any questions they want to ask? Feel free to ask questions for us.
You give out samples of those peanut butter cups?
Well, they are on the bark, so you will get one.
You get one half.
Yeah. They're pretty good. When they're mini, it makes you want to eat a lot of them. Well, feel free to ask any questions.
Has anybody worked with a white chocolate like this before, or chocolate melting, anything like that? You have? Yeah. It's depending on what you're doing, it can be tricky, but I feel like this is a very easy way to do it. So I prefer.
And I've tried peppermint bark for a long time, but I've never made it. And it really is very simple. All you do is melt the chocolate, put the peppermint in, spread it out. And then we're just going to let it dry. You can either leave it room temperature for 30 minutes, or you can put it in the fridge for 15 minutes. So it's a pretty quick process.
And we got to the point when we got to the end yesterday that it started to get a little bit dry. And so what we ended up doing is using like the leftover on the spatula, and we would just touch the end of it with that and then stick it on, and because it's chocolate, it'll just melt right to it. So, or stick to it, So it ended up working out nicely. And then if you needed to do that, maybe if you got really wet, this isn't even good, you really need some of the warm chocolate, just put a couple extra chips in the microwave, mix it up till it's warm, and then you could just do like probably 1 or 2, and then you can use it as the same idea. That would work good for that. So.
I accidentally dropped some sprinkles, so this one has like 5 noses, and that's okay.
No, it doesn't have one.
That's okay. It's a chance for you to be creative here,
Yes.
so.
And then once you get it all cooled down, I don't know if we'll have enough time for it to totally cool down or not, but what you do is you're just going to take a knife and cut these with the knife. And so as the picture, okay.
Sorry.
No,
Right
it's
here.
okay. You can see these ones, they kind of did it in random shapes. So they didn't make them perfect squares. They made them kind of like added more than 4 sides to some of them. You can easily do stuff like that will add some texture and character to them. And you'll see when on the samples that we have, we did that with a lot of ours. So.
And it's easy when you put them all next to each other like this. You just kind of can cut out each one. So that's kind of nice that you don't have to worry about spacing them a certain amount because you can really just cut around them and it looks good.
And we had because we had, like we said, there were some small ones and they were all kind of squished together. I had some that was really close that I couldn't, even if I wanted to, I couldn't get a perfect line. So I just worked with what shape I had and then I just made them kind of creatively that way, so. And we can tell that the chocolate's already starting to dry up a little bit.
And the edges are going to dry up before the middle, so keep that in mind too.
Yeah. Ooh, dropped a pretzel. Casualty. All right. And then if you guys want, you can come up and look at these, and that way you can kind of get a better view of kind of what we've got here.
Feel free to come up.
Yeah, you can come. Yeah. So then,
I know, aren't they funny?
Wow, those sprinkles are going to be hard.
I know, they are.
that's
Could
what
you use like a biscuit cutter or circle cookie cutter?
You could,
Yeah.
yeah.
Round
For
instead?
that, you would definitely want to wait till it completely cools first and then cut it. Well, I mean, same idea, but.
Design would have to kind of.
And you'd have to
Yeah,
make sure
definitely.
that it fits within it. Yeah. So it is possible, though. You definitely can make that work.
That's a good idea.
What's the book title?
So it's called Baking All Year Round, and it's a really cool book. It has recipes, for all the different holidays, and it's really cute. We've used it before to make gingerbread cookies. It has a really good recipe for that.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, it's a really cute cookbook. Okay.
We're just about done. Get these last few on here. Whoops.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Love the eyes.
I know, they're really fun.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not going to risk it.
Okay. I think I
think we're
need to stop.
We're good.
My gloves are too sticky, so I either need new gloves or to
All right,
stop.
but yeah, so there you go. So then from there, we'll just stick them right into the fridge or freezer, let them cool down a bit, and then you can cut them up after that and serve them. So yeah. Was there any other last minute questions or thoughts? Okay.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah,
so much for
We-
coming, everyone.
We did want to tell you guys a little bit. Next month, we do this every month at 3 o'clock every third Wednesday. I know today was a little bit weird because of Christmas. We had to adjust. But next month, we will be doing a meal prep 101. Basically, we're going to go over just like food storage and how to meal prep and different tips and things like that.
Even
And-
like fridge organization. We have a really cool cookbook that we're using that talks about like good ways to organize your fridge, that it's kind of the most optimal, and how to store food, and just all the meal prep tricks. And then we're gonna make a recipe too.
Yes, and
So-
which will be a granola, and then we'll tell you the different versatile ways you can use that. So,
And that it can store to be used for food prep.
Yeah.
So
and
that
then
will be
do you want
fun.
to talk about the?
And then last month we did a charcuterie board basics class, and it was really fun. We had a really great turnout, and people have asked us to do it again. So we're going to do it again. It's going to be at the end of January. It's a Friday at 1 p.m. So it's a different time. We're also going to do it in our big room in the back, our program room, so that we can fit more people. But please join us for that. We had a lot of fun making a charcuterie board. So join us for both of those.
And that will not be live on Instagram or Facebook for that one because we have already done it. If you're interested in seeing our live video, you can go back and look at our previous one from November. Yes. So, but all right.
Yay.
Well, thank you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in online, and you guys can come get samples. So.
Yeah.